Big Buck Registry's Big Buck Podcast, episode number 21. Big Buck Registry is a virtual museum of hunting stories. We preserve a piece of Americana by interviewing and recording hunters about their hunts and experiences from across the country. And who knows, maybe we'll learn a thing or two along the way that'll help us take our hunt to the next level.
Hi, this is Boyd Barnett with Moultrie Products and the Moultrie Total Game Management Podcast. You're listening to my second favorite podcast of all time, the Big Buck Registry's Big Buck Podcast.
Welcome to the show, everybody. This is Jay Scott, your host of the Big Buck Registry's Big Buck Podcast. And we're back again this week, and we're psyched to be here. We're glad you're joining us once again. We look forward to this time every single week. We are, episode number 21. It's hard to believe it was 21 episodes ago that we started the Big Buck Registry's Big Buck Podcast. We're going to keep doing it until we just can't do it anymore. If you're wondering where Dusty is, Dusty was on field assignment, and then he went to Kentucky to hunt some big bucks with rifle, and he shot a big buck. And I think it was his first big buck in Kentucky ever, or actually his first buck period. And then he got sick, so his vocal cords are just not up for the show this week. But we do get to listen to Dusty and I talk to an outfitter. And this show really is about the outfitter. We're talking to Jeff Butler from Full Draw Hunts, who is an outfitter in Illinois. So if you ever wanted to know what it was like to travel to an outfitter or set up an outfitter type hunt, this is the show you want to listen to. We're starting to do the hunter highlights again because the big bucks are starting to come in all across the country. And as they come in and as they're posted on our Facebook page and as they're sent to us, we start picking the ones that we think really stick out. And the ones that really stick out, in case you're wondering, are the ones that have a great picture. It starts with a great buck, but it's not just the buck we're interested in. We're interested in the people behind the buck. That picture that, is worth 1,000 words. We want to know, we want to listen to those 1,000 words, and we want to put it right here on audio for all to hear and save forever in an archive, a hunting archive. And by doing so, if you want to get your buck on the Big Buck Registry and tell your story, take a great picture of that buck. Show the proud, happy faces. Show who you are, and don't just send in a picture of the buck. Send in a picture of you and your buck on the day of harvest. And if you could smile, that'd be great too. Let's first listen in to Dusty and I talk to Jeff Butler at Full Draw Hunts.
We're an outfitter here in western Illinois, mainly Adams and Hancock counties.
Okay.
We're a small operation. Myself, my buddy Rodney, that guides for me. We've got backgrounds in guiding for some bigger sized operations, and basically we both just feel that the way we do things here, concentrating on a small group, it's just something that works out real well. And guys aren't just another number, and fortunately make a lot of good friends because of it. So the success is usually higher. And even when you happen to have a slow week, everybody seems to have a really good time, which is what it's all about.
Right. That's very cool. I'm cruising through your Facebook page right now, which is facebook.com/Full Draw Hunts Inc. How many people do you have coming through Full Draw Hunts on an annual basis to hunt?
Generally we're looking at, with early season, the rut, late season gun, 30 to 40 usually. We concentrate on groups of 6 to 8 during our prime weeks. We run basically 4 prime weeks, and so a group of 6 to 8 each week. But it's all about keeping the pressure down and the quality of the deer high and the success as high as we can.
Very cool. Looks like you just had a box of Moultrie M880s dropped off.
Yeah. Yep, sure did.
What do you plan to do with all those?
Well, we picked up some new ground this year, and hopefully it's going to take us to the next level. So, in turn, got to have more cameras. So I guess you can never have enough. Had some good luck with the Moultries last year, and a buddy / client of mine is a dealer, has an online store that sells cameras. So he was good enough to help us out.
Those look like handy tools. Tell us more about how you use the Moultries.
Well, basically, I usually start getting my cameras out early June. So that seems to be when you start seeing the antler development come along. I'll get them out early June. I try to only check them about once every 2 weeks. Even in the summertime, it doesn't do you any good to go in there and blow a bunch of deer around just to get their picture. So we try to stay out of there as much as possible. And, it gives us a real good idea of what we're looking for. We were fortunate last year to finally kill a deer that we've been after for a couple of years. Big 5-year-old, ended up being 172 inches. And we had 3 years pictures of him. So it's probably the best tool you can have, really. Plus it's a lot of fun.
That's awesome. We've been hearing the word Moultrie over and over as we speak to hunters across the United States. Seems to be more or less one of the cameras of choice right now. And I think there are certainly some other great cameras out there, but Moultrie seems to be showing up a lot.
Yeah, I think they really, some of the early stuff I wasn't real familiar with, but over the past couple of years, especially with the price, I think those M880s, retail at $135 to $150 or something like that. You really can't go wrong, and they're easy and they work. But it seems like Moultrie's definitely stepping up their game with their cameras these days.
Very cool. I'd like to talk some deer hunting with you, Jeff, if we could.
Oh, absolutely.
I'm going to let Dusty start with some questions, then I'll follow up. Dusty, what do you have for deer questions for Jeff?
Yeah, Jeff. Hey, welcome to the show. And a couple questions that I have for you is I see that you guys do a raffle. I want to kind of touch bases on that briefly, just to. It looks like a Catch a Dream raffle. Is that for a hunt, or can you tell us a little bit about what that involves?
Yeah, no problem. Most people are familiar with Catch a Dream Foundation from the jury TV shows, and it's a foundation that picks up where basically like Make-A-Wish and some of those foundations leave off, as far as like Make-A-Wish, they don't do anything with hunting and fishing, so that's where Catch a Dream steps in. So it's basically it provides sick kids with a hunting or fishing trip of a lifetime. Last year was the first year we did it. Basically, all I do is I'll put a hunt up for raffle. And past couple of years, all we've done is we've set a limit at 100 tickets, and we try to sell them at $50 a piece. You can buy as many as you want. Last year we were fortunate to sell, I believe it was right at 40 tickets, and this year we were at 30, I believe. So overall you're looking at $7,000 going to, actually, sorry, they're $100 a piece. So over the past few years we were fortunate to send $7,000 to Catch a Dream Foundation. So hopefully it went to a good use.
Oh, that's excellent. That's a good thing you're doing there.
I appreciate it.
Yeah, just seen that on your page there, on your Facebook there at Full Draw Hunts, and thought I'd cover that. That's a great program to be representing with you guys, and you're very fortunate to have a place to provide a hunt to donate the profit from. So that's great.
Yeah. After talking to them, directly a couple of years ago, a lot of the actual Catch a Dream hunts, take place in the South, where I don't know how I want to state it, but we're not ideally set up, to accommodate that type of a deal, where we found that the best way we could support the foundation would be to raffle off a hunt and just be able to send funds.
Yeah, that's great. Great thing.
Yeah.
But, what do you guys do? Let's say we're getting into early fall. Season's about to come in for your whitetails. What's some of the tactics that you guys start to do to get prepared for the season, as far as food plots, stand set up, things of that nature? Yeah.
We do a ton of food plots in August. With the drought we've had the past couple of years, the corn and beans have been, pretty hard to come by. But we've been fortunate to have some luck with our August plots and with the majority of our green stuff. So late August is spent taking care of all that. Hopefully by September, pretty much all the stands are good to go. You always have a few last minute stands that get in, get trimmed, get marked. We try to make sure everything's dialed in perfectly, well before the season. Come mid to late September, it's really just a matter of, watching the deer, figuring out what they're doing. So that way our first group of clients that come in for the opening week, October 1st through the 5th, it's just a matter of, having an idea of what deer are using what areas and trying to move in and kill them. It's just, it'd be a big difference if we opened September 15th, like some states do, versus October 1st, because a lot of things seem to change in that last 2 weeks of September. But we've been fortunate to have some success that opening week, and it's basically from mid-August to the beginning of season is pretty much long days and just trying to get everything ready for the guys.
Right. Yeah, that's great. As far as tree stands and different setups, how many setups do you guys provide for a group of hunters coming in? Do they have multiple options and different stand locations?
Yeah, I mean, absolutely. I try not to, put a limit on, this is how many stands you've got to work with and all that. I try to go by, what the deer activity has been, what I'm expecting it to be this, during the week. Once we get into the rut, what we did the previous week as far as, what farms and what stands we were in. We're going to try and, keep everything fresh and stay on new stuff. But if I've got something that was extremely hot last week, if I got a guy that's open to it, chances are we might go right back in there. It just really comes down to the situation. But, I'd have to, sorry, that was the dog. I'd have to estimate, we're probably at 65 to 80 stands somewhere now, somewhere around there. I know that's nothing compared to a lot of the bigger outfitters, but for what we do, it's definitely plenty.
Oh yeah,
plenty work.
Yeah, 60 stands is a lot of setups to be hanging. Do you guys use mostly tree stands or hang-ons, or do you have ground blinds, or is it like say when somebody comes in there and they're not capable of climbing a tree stand, do you offer a ground blind setup for somebody that's unable to do the climbing?
Yep, absolutely. We've killed a couple real good deer out of ground blinds, and if you never have killed a deer out of a ground blind, it's a whole lot of fun being at eye level.
It's a challenge.
The majority, absolutely. It's just a matter of getting it out there early. The majority of what we do is hang on tree stands. Started off with all the big game stuff, just because cost wise they're pretty hard to beat. I got a call from Chad at Buddy back in December, January, and was fortunate to pick up 25 new buddies for this year. So I'm excited to get them in the tree. Hopefully they're going to offer us a little more versatility with the way they've got the platform leveling system on there, to where with the big game you're pretty well have to deal with whatever angle the tree is. If you want to get it in there, so hopefully that's going to offer us some more options there. But I definitely take pride in having good equipment and having everything in really good shape.
Excellent. As your customers come in, your clients that come into Full Draw Hunts, you guys are a full facility for meals, housing, room and board, and everything. Tell us a little bit about how your day goes whenever somebody's there as a client of Full Draw Hunts. Not only you have accommodations for food and everything, but tell us about your day, how you plan it out to get your client in the woods and get their belly full at the end of the day.
Absolutely. Well, a typical pre-rut or rut day, we've been fortunate to have a lot of really hardcore and serious hunters where the majority of them sit all day. It's not a requirement, but most of them do, and, it definitely helps with your success. So guys will get up, depending if it's before or after the time change, get them I like to have guys in the woods sitting in the stand, 40 to 45 minutes before daylight. At least, if not an hour. Just that way, if you do bump some deer going in, you let everything settle down. The majority of the guys, like I said, sit all day. Say if they don't kill that day, we get them out, come back to the lodge, and my cook's got a big home cooked meal ready each night. So that way, we don't have to run to town. We don't have to, spend time doing it ourselves. It's you come in, they get changed, and boom, sit down and eat, and then we've got some time to sit around in the evening and BS and go over the game plan for the next day and everything. It's just a real relaxed atmosphere. I don't have a big giant 5-star lodge by any means, but it's a really cool old farmhouse. It's clean. It's got every comfort of home you can imagine. And it's remote. We sit here and we see good deer right off the patio. It's just nice. What I pictured in my mind when I was putting this all together was, what would I envision for myself going to Illinois and as far as the lodge goes, and as far as, how I would expect an outfitter to take care of things. And basically that's how, everything I've done, that's what it's based on.
Excellent,
Gotcha.
excellent. Yeah,
Nice.
that's great. That's a great thing. It's all about accommodations, and making people feel like they're at home when they come to your facility. And that's what I can tell in the pictures. It looks like that everything looks excellent, and you've got a nice facility for the hunters to come in and enjoy their hunt while they're there with you at Full Draw Hunts. Jay, I'm going to let you ask some questions.
Sure. Everybody, we're talking to Jeff Butler from Full Draw Hunts, who is an outfitter in Illinois. Jeff, what I'd like to hear a little bit about is could you share with us perhaps one of your most memorable hunts of last year?
Okay, yeah, that's easy. October 5th, a good friend of mine / client from Colorado, Kirk. Rodney and I had him in a stand on a farm that we knew one of these bigger class deer was frequenting, and I was confident that if we put the time in with the right wind, that we'd get a crack. Well, I think it was a Thursday, if I remember right. Later on that, early evening, late afternoon, he did get his shot, and the craziness of the whole event came in, when we finally went in there to get him, and I'd been sitting out there at the road waiting for him to come out, and we heard the coyotes light up like crazy, which they do a lot of times out there. So we're really adamant about giving deer all the time they need and then some. But we really felt with a deer of that caliber, because as soon as he got to the road, I showed him a picture on my phone. Is this the deer? He said, "Yep, that's the deer." And then we really got excited. So we decided to actually go in a little quicker than what we planned. Got back to the lodge. And my girlfriend had a big meal ready for everybody, and it was kind of a big test for her because I rolled into the lodge with everybody, and we were here 5 minutes, and I said, "All right, let's go." And nobody touched any food, and a handful of us went back out looking for the deer. So she passed that test, needless to say. But
you guys are still together, right?
Yeah.
Oh, good, excellent.
Yeah. So, but yeah, we get out there, and we had good blood, and heading across a cut bean field, and we made it into some wheat stubble. And next thing I know, we jumped him, and I was like, "Oh boy, here we go." So, fortunately, he was on his last leg, and took a little more effort to get in there and get him than what I was expecting. But he ended up dying, right next to one of our dirt roads. He goes way into the back of the farm, and Kirk and his best friend that came with him, and a couple of other buddies that were here were there. So it was the biggest deer we'd taken to date. It was on my birthday, and it was just a great day. So got back to the lodge. There happened to be a whole pile of people at the lodge. So it was just a real great experience, and a deer of that caliber and a deer that we had 3 years of history with. It was a good day. So to start the season off that way, it was pretty special.
That's pretty cool. It's nice when you have a history with a deer and you finally harvest the deer that you've been hunting for a long time. That's pretty neat.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
When you have guests out at the ranch, I don't know if that's the right word, ranch or lodge. When you have guests,
yep.
Do you set any kind of limitation on what they can shoot and what they can't?
Absolutely. You've got to. Basically, the way I set mine up is a 3.5-year-old or 140-inch minimum. Where I struggle with that is a guy from Alabama or Pennsylvania comes out and, maybe they've killed a 115, 120-inch deer. Beautiful 3.5-year-old 8-pointer comes by, mid-130s deer. I have a hard time telling him that he can't shoot that deer. At the same time, we get a lot of 2-year-olds that, make it to mid-30s or close to 140. So we're trying to protect those big 2-year-olds. And if we end up killing, a couple, 130 to 140 class 3-year-olds along the way, it's not going to hurt us. The most important part of that is, we've got a couple of real happy hunters because they've taken the biggest deer of their life. So having those standards kind of set that way really works well versus just saying 130 inches, no exceptions.
Right.
So we're trying to, take it a little further than most.
Right. Gotcha. As far as like the quality deer management, do you take any doe throughout the year?
Yeah, absolutely. We tend to take a lot of the doe management upon ourselves. Between Rodney and myself, we'll try to do a lot of it late season. But the thing is too, we started in 2010. That was our first hunting season. It's full draw hunts. So some of the farms we wanted to see the numbers come up a little bit, so we kind of backed off. Finally now we saw a big jump in the past year as far as our numbers getting to where I really wanted them to be. So we haven't done a ton of doe killing. From this point going forward, we're probably going to step it up just a little bit.
Gotcha. Okay, so killing does is definitely part of the deal.
Absolutely. If we get a guy that that wants, the biggest thing is if they want to take the meat home.
Right.
We've got some great donation programs. For the guys that that don't happen to want the meat off their bucks. We make sure it goes to a needy family for sure.
Right.
If they want to doe and they want to take the meat home, absolutely not a problem.
Yep. It seems to me that if you're hunting Illinois or if you're hunting Ohio, you're more or less thinking racks. You're not necessarily thinking. You want meat too, but the racks in Ohio and Illinois are just some of the best in the world. So that's kind of what you're focused on if you're going to those spots to hunt.
Definitely. The guys are paying good money, and they're looking for an opportunity at a mature buck. That's first and foremost.
Right. Yep. One of the terms that keeps coming up as we interview hunters from across the country is this word called sanctuary, and basically what it means is that's an area that is off limits to all hunting to give the deer some safety zone so that they stay on the property. Do you guys exercise that kind of thing?
We try to. It's all relative to the size of the farm. When you hear a lot of, sanctuary getting tossed around on TV and whatnot, a lot of these guys that are, that are saying they're setting these areas up as sanctuaries are probably dealing with, big, giant, continuous tracts. For us, we've got tracts that range from anywhere from, 40 acres to 700. So depending on the size of the farm, even down to a couple hundred acre size farm, you try and take an area that, you're going to stay out of, at all costs, pretty much at all costs except for having to track a deer. It's definitely key. Food and pressure are the two biggest factors, I think, when it comes to killing mature buck. You got to have the food to keep them there, and you got to leave them alone as much as possible. And that pretty much goes all the way throughout the whole season, in my opinion.
Right. That's what we're hearing a lot of, and it seems like the guys that are shooting the big deer are the ones that actually stay true to the sanctuary. So that's kind of cool.
Absolutely. Yep, absolutely.
Dusty, what other questions do you have for Jeff?
Jeff, when you got a hunter in camp, you guys set up a computer and show them what's available in the area that they're going to be hunting. Tell us a little bit about your pre-flight before you head out, as far as telling them about what deers are in the area, and tell us how excited they get when they see what they're got a chance to harvest, why they're there at your outfitter.
Yeah, no, definitely. Fortunately with, all the social media today, Facebook is a huge thing for us. Spend a lot of money and a lot of time building the page to what it is. So most of the guys have an idea what we're looking for. They see a lot of the big, all the big pictures on there before they get here. But, once I make a decision of, which specific ones we're going to target, right before the hunt, we'll sit down. I'll actually have some pictures printed out so we can toss them around the table. And between that and pulling out the computer and various stuff on I'll even basically figure out a way to get that picture onto my phone so I can actually just text them the picture so they can actually have that picture with them in the stand. So it's definitely a fun time to get excited and to see what happens. And it's even more fun when he comes home in the back of the truck.
For sure, excitement. I'm sure that you have some happy hunters. I can see the smile on the pictures there at your Facebook page, and that's kind of what it's all about. And it sounds like you're putting the effort in to keep putting smiles on the hunter's face that come into your outfitting rig there, and that's a great thing. Tell us about. I'm looking at one of your pictures on your Facebook, and I'm looking at a scrape on a tree that looks to be 8 to 10 inch round tree, and this thing is burned up. Is there quite a few scrapes like that at your place?
Oh yeah. We find big rubs like that all the time. When I'm looking at a new farm, that's probably the number one thing that I look for, because it just doesn't lie to you. A little buck's not going to sit there and make one of those big giant rubs. It's the most probably instant sign, if you want to say that, as far as knowing that mature bucks have been on that farm and frequent that area. So when I'm out shed hunting and scouting, it's definitely one of the things I get excited about.
Yeah, I think I said a scrape, but I meant to say a rub there. Sorry about that, Jeff. I think I was more excited about the picture or talk about it than anything.
Well, actually, if you scroll through the Facebook page down to November of last year, one of our giants that we killed, he actually died right in front of one of his rubs that he made on the big cedar tree. It's pretty neat.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah,
that is really cool. But tell us a little bit about, do you take time out of your season while you're guiding and running your outfitting? Do you take time yourself to do a little hunting?
No, that's part of the deal when you do this for a living. I love to hunt just as much as anybody else, but fortunately for me, I've been able to do this for a few years, well, going on 4 years now, full time. But my hunters come first. I might try to sneak out a couple times late season, if I'm not totally burned up with it by then. But when I've got clients here and I've got stuff to do to get ready for clients, it's just I'd hate to be sitting there in the tree and have one of our big target deer come walking in and stand there at 20 yards, and I'd have the moral dilemma of whether or not I shoot them. So basically, I just take that out of the equation, and I'm in the business to put guys on deer, and that's my only focus. So there's varying opinions on that as far as some guys don't mind it, some guys do. So I just take it out of the equation.
Yeah, I totally understand that. I was just curious, and I know I talked to Jay about that. If you take time to hunt yourself, and it sounds like you put your clients in front of your hunt, so that's dedication.
Yeah, it has to be that way. It really can't be any other way. That's the only way you're going to stay in business. And I really wanted to build this thing to stand the test of time. There's a lot of operations that come and go. I want to be around. I still want to be doing this in 20 years. So that's my focus. We could have doubled in size from year 1 to year 2 if we'd wanted to, but that's just not where we're going, and that's just not what we're about. So just been fortunate. That's really all I can say.
Yeah. Jeff, how old are you now?
I'm 33.
33. All right, that's very cool, man.
Yeah.
How do our listeners reach out to you if they want to come book a trip to Full Draw Hunts?
Well, pretty simple. You've got fulldrawhunts.com, and basically, other than that, the Facebook page, facebook.com / Full Draw Hunts Inc. And, you can find just as much information on the Facebook page as you can on the website. Like I said before, it's been a critical tool for us, and it's pretty simple. Other than that, I got phone number 217-440-5553, and you can call me or text me or, try to make it as easy as possible. Guys really, one thing they notice, especially when they send an email or give me a call, I'm very responsive as far as, getting right back to somebody if I miss them. Emails, as soon as I get the email, I'll send one back to you and we'll go from there. But, it's definitely all about communication and try to make it as easy as possible.
Very cool. I like that you're using text. I think you're the first Illinois, or the first outfitter we've talked to, period, or any outfitter we've seen that said, "Hey, text me." That's pretty cool.
It's kind of impersonal, but a lot of guys just want to shoot a quick text to get a question answered or whatever it might be. And you got to have something for everybody. So I prefer to talk on the phone, but you'd be surprised how many hunts I book by not even talking to somebody.
I bet. No, the social technology and smartphones, texting is taking over the world. So that's very cool. Dusty, you got any parting comments or questions for Jeff?
No, Jeff, I really like what you got going over there. The 100% fair game is, that's what makes your outfitter so unique versus a lot of others. There's no fences. You're hunting wild game at Full Draw Hunts.
Absolutely. Well, I definitely appreciate that. It's you love it when a guy's got a mindset that he's coming on a vacation, so to speak, and he's got a good chance of killing a good deer, and but the deer itself, sometimes is the bonus of the trip, versus everything being hinged on the success or not. Because no matter where you go, success really isn't in your, the odds really aren't in your favor no matter where you go as far as fair chase hunting goes. So it's I thank God every day that we're able to do this, and it's a lot of fun.
That's excellent.
Yeah, that's excellent for sure.
Very nice. Well, Jeff, we'll let you go, but thank you for spending some time to talk about full draw hunts and sharing some of your deer hunting tips. And we'll be sure to post all your links and all your contact information in the show notes when this podcast airs, and it should be pretty cool. And I think our listeners will absolutely enjoy listening to you talk about deer hunting out in Illinois.
Well, that's great, man. I appreciate you having me on. And if you guys ever need anything else, definitely don't hesitate to holler.
All right, we'll text you.
Hey, there you go.
I may call you, Jeff. Jay can text you.
Hey,
I like talking on the phone. But yeah, you got a great thing going there, and then we really do appreciate you coming on and talking with us about the outfitting and how your facility works, and it, like I said, you're going to be the first for us for outfitting, and we hope we branch out. But I think we'll stay with the 100% fair chase game. That's the way it should be, and that's what we like. And
yeah, absolutely. Definitely.
All right.
Well, I appreciate it.
All right. Thanks again to Jeff Butler from Full Draw Hunts in Illinois, the outfitter. Just contact Jeff, as he had mentioned during the show, if you'd like to book a hunt out there in Illinois. If you would like to reach out to Dusty, we hope you're feeling better. Get those vocal cords back in shape, because we have a full lineup here for the next several weeks. So get those things back in shape. Congratulations on your big buck. And if you'd like to reach out to Dusty, just go to Chubby Tines Outdoors, which is on Facebook. So facebook.com/Chubby Tines Outdoors. If you'd like to reach out to us at the Big Buck Registry, you can send an email to jay@bigbuckregistry.com. You can visit our website at bigbuckregistry.com. You can go to Facebook, facebook.com/Big Buck Registry, or twitter.com/Big Buck Registry. See the theme there? It's pretty common. So if you would like to call us, you can reach us at 724-613-2825. If you'd like to call in a big buck, register your deer by vocal or audio, you can do it by calling our number, and we'll post it and share it, and we'll start sorting through those so that we can highlight and do the hunter highlight on the show right here on the Big Buck Registry's Big Buck Podcast. If you're listening to this show on iTunes, and hopefully you are, share it with your friends. And all you have to do as you're listening to the show on your iDevice, your Apple device, just look for the little arrow in the top right and push it. And you can either email it or text it to your best friend and say, hey, this is a pretty cool show. I think you're going to like it. So that's it. That's a wrap. This is Jay Scott for the Big Buck Registry's Big Buck Podcast, and we'll see you next week. Can't wait.